management that's hurting your used car sales. And what I mean by proper lead management, I'm going to move my mic over here a little bit better, is what I mean by proper lead management. I think you really need to focus, and I've done a lot of videos about this, is first focus on active leads on cars still in stock. Okay, let's start at that platform there. Because here's what I'll tell you: 60, anywhere from 40 to 80% of your, and if I look at the last 60 days of your sales, 40 up to almost 80% of those active leads are going to be on cars no longer in stock. So what I'm telling you then is, and it's a higher percentage the faster you turn your inventory, right? The more leads you're getting, the more cars you're selling, you have more active leads on cars no longer in stock. That's the 80%. So meaning if I got 1,000 leads, 800 can't buy the car they wanted anymore because the car is sold, and it's sold fast. So that leaves 200 active leads where the car's still in stock. If you're somebody that doesn't move their inventory as quick, not as active, and adjusting prices and holding out, then you might only have 30-40% of those active leads on cars still in stock. But also, it also depends on, are you moving car leads to lost early, like at day 30, or just moving them on and stuff like that. So just to set the parameters there, one, the proper way to work leads is, instead of, let's just say 65% of your active leads are on cars that are sold. So I got 1,000 leads, 650 can't buy the car they wanted anymore. That leaves 350 leads left. That's the first thing, is attack the 350. If I've got an active lead, car still in stock, I would want to reach out to those customers every day, every other day, to increase my sale rates. Okay. And here's the reason why is, again, I've talked about this a lot, but when I get an active lead, when I get a lead, or a opportunity, like people like to say, and what I mean by lead, somebody submits a lead on autotradercars.com, CarGurus, Carfax, your own website. They go on there, they submit an inquiry on a car. I get that opportunity. When I get that customer, I don't know until I talk to them or they reply back to me. I don't know if they're 2 days out or 2 months out. And even though some people say, yeah, I'm looking to do something soon, they might take another 60 days before they do something. So we've been managing leads based on the age of the lead, which is irrelevant to where they might be in their buying cycle. I think you need to manage leads based on the situation on your lot. First scenario is active lead, car still in stock, increase contact ratio. I don't care if it's a 2-day lead, 20-day lead, or 50-day lead. I have a active car in an inventory and I have active leads on those car. Let's increase contact ratio there. Now I say every day, every other day, every 2 to 3 days, depending on the age of the lead, a bit. And what I mean by that, of course, those fresh active leads are going to be more active, right? Hopefully they're going to be doing something soon. If it's a 40, 50-day lead and they haven't got back to you, I understand maybe every 3 days then instead of every day. Okay. But directionally, I'm going to separate the 650. I'm not going to go in my CRM and do 7-day calls, 10-day email, 14-day phone call, 20-day email, and text messages and so forth. I get it, but I'm talking about emails, phone calls, and stuff like that. My attempt. I don't want just the system to be following up with them. The system can be filling gaps and holes in my process, meaning I'm busy, I don't have enough staff, we're off for the day. We've been texting 5 times and I haven't picked up the phone or emailed them. You need to have a wide variety of ways to reach out to a consumer. So let me talk to you about, again, the lack of proper. I'm going to share a screen here. So if you're listening to this online, please go into Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and take a look at this data I'm going to share you. Now, don't get too caught up in some of the information, because we're going to talk about lead management now, and we're going to talk about inventory management. So I mentioned on Used Car Clubhouse last week about not just managing activities per lead. How many calls and emails and text messages are we doing per lead? I want to look at activities per car. And again, if I got active leads on cars still in stock, I want to get reached out all together. So what we're currently looking at is a really good operator. And what I mean by that, they're selling 52% of their inventory in 2-week window, meaning they're selling 104% of their cars, 163 cars. So they're going to sell 170 plus with that. Okay. And so Right now, franchise are moving slow, so are purchases, and we isolate all that. But let's just talk about inventory management and this lead management problem. So, understand we're looking at age of inventory 0 to 15 day old cars, 16 to 30, 31, 45, 46 to 60, 61 plus. Now, and total inventory right here. And so if you look at this, of the cars that have leads on them, okay, 42% of those cars, 42% of the 163 are the ones that have leads, haven't been active leads haven't been contacted in at least 2 days. So let me explain that here in a minute as we get going. Now, obviously, fresh cars are going to have fresh leads. A 7-day-old car is typically not going to have a 50-day-old lead on it. I say that is, again, a blanket statement because, yes, I understand you take a 50-day-old customer and go put them on a 2-day-old car. I get that, but that's very few and far between. So what I'm saying is the old cars, this 46 to 60, 60 plus, those cars are going to have older leads. They're going to have a 50-day-old lead because it's a 55-day-old car. And I got that lead when the car was 5 days old. Does that make sense? So watch this pattern, okay? The fresh cars, because again, those are going to have fresh leads of the cars in here, 65 cars in this bucket, okay? 15% of those or 10 of them. So basically what this is saying is 10 cars of these 65 have leads, and of those they haven't been of those 10 cars in there where they have leads where they haven't been followed up with at least 2 days or greater. So that's only at 15%. So let me show you what I mean by that. When I click here, we're going to show you the cars, not the customers. And so when I show you this, we're going to look, this car has 2 leads, but one of those leads haven't been contacted in 2 days. This car has 4 leads, and one of those leads haven't been contacted in 2 days. This car has 6 leads. Okay, here's the 6 leads, and one of them haven't been. See this lead right here, 6 days ago. Okay, so my point is, we've got out of 65 cars, there's 10 cars where they have active leads where there's leads in there that haven't been followed up with within 2 days. That's only 15%. Why? Because majority go back to these cars, and you go back to any of these leads, a majority of these leads, okay, are 3 days old, 5 days old. Okay, so we're following up with those fresh leads. Now, as the cars get older, that percentage gets higher. Now, all of a sudden, I got, of the 39 cars here, 17 cars, or 44% of those, have active leads on cars, active leads that I haven't reached out within 2 days. Go to the next bucket, 47%. Go to the next bucket, 77%. Go to the next bucket, 85%. Okay. Out of the 27 cars, 23 cars have active leads that I haven't followed up with within 2 days. Look, there's 28 leads. Let me sort this. There's 28 leads on one car. Of those 28 leads, 20 of them haven't been contacted in at least 2 days. Well, why? Because again, this car has an 11, a 17, a 19, a 20-day-old lead, 14-day contact, 21-day-old lead, 4-day contact, 23-day-old lead, 22-day-old contact, right? These older cars have older leads where we don't tend to reach out as frequently because it's a 51-day-old lead, so, or a 56-day-old lead. So I reach out every other week on an old lead, just filling it in. Not only that, this 56-day-old lead, it's been 6 days, only 6 contacts in 56 days. Okay. So that means we called on 9/10, 9/11, 9/15, 9/20, 9/10, October 2nd. Then we went 22 days, October 24th, and we haven't called them since. We got a lead when the car was 35 days old. We contacted at 36 days, at 40 days old, at 46 days old, 57 days old. That's a big gap. Took an 11-day gap. And then we took a 22-day gap, okay, or 23-day gap, and we haven't reached out to him since. So my question is, all right, if we're not selling enough out of a particular age bucket, if my inventory is not moving, but I have 85% of the cars in that bucket have leads that I haven't followed up with, okay, more times than not, okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. More times than not, right, there's a lead management opportunity there before a price adjustment opportunity there, right? Before you drop the price, any active leads you have on a car in stock, why don't we call and email them? Matter of fact, I'm going to show one more. I'm going to show another issue here. Let's just go back. Let's dig into it. Forget about age buckets. And I've talked about this before. Here's other issues this dealer has, okay? And what I'm going to look at, a couple things. Intermediate SUVs, okay? Remember, I want to sell half my inventory in 2 weeks. So my goal is to sell 50% of anything I have in a 2-week period. That's the sale rates we're looking at. So intermediate SUVs are at a sale rate of only 26%, okay? So I've got 39 units sitting there, and of those 39 units, 36% of them, or 14 cars, have active leads that I haven't followed up with consistently enough in my eyes. Proper follow-up. So is it an intermediate SUV problem, or is it a lead problem? Again, this is where we differ, because you can't go into your CRM and say, hey, give me my active leads on my intermediate SUVs, much less the ones that I haven't contacted in at least 2 days. And so here we are, we got 3 leads on this car. Okay. Newest leads 24 days ago. And it's been at least 2 days. There's 2 of these 3 that we haven't contacted. 24-day lead, 34-day lead, 55-day lead, haven't contacted 7 days and 21 days. Again, before you drop the price on this car, why don't we isolate any leads I have on intermediate SUVs and start increasing contact ratio? Okay. That should only make sense. And to me, that's proper lead management. Okay. Proper opportunity management, if you want to call it. Okay. If lead management's a bad word. But I'm just saying, it doesn't matter if it's a phone up, walk in, internet lead, whatever. Talking about opportunities, a lead to me would be somebody emailing off the sites and coming in. A walk-in's a walk-in's, a phone opportunity. Either way, a lot of times our lack of proper opportunity or lead management that is hurting your overall sales, much less your used car sales. Okay, this data I also look at on new cars, and it's similar, right? Older cars are going to have older leads. I don't follow up with this quickly, and I'm wondering why I'm not selling it. So then I drop a price so I can get me a fresh lead, and then I'll follow up with that fresh lead and sell that one. But I've just lost myself another $500 or $1,000 in gross because I had to drop the price to get that fresh lead, because then my people pay attention to fresh leads. That's a 45-day lead. Don't worry about that. I got this guy just emailed me 10 minutes ago. I got to worry about that one. Okay. So my point is, that 45-day lead might have just got their insurance check yesterday and they're ready to pull the trigger now, but I haven't given him a reason to do business with me anymore because now he's looked at 10 other cars since then. All right. So sometimes it's your lack of proper lead management or contact management that is hurting your used car sales. And if you'd like to see how we can help your store with this information, reach out to us, lotwalk.com, message me, whatever, Lotwalk or Lotpop.com. The company's Lotpop, software is Lotwalk. Do your virtual Lotwalk. Be able to see this. Do you have customers out on the showroom floor for 5 minutes and nobody's helping them? You'd be mad. Well, you got leads here that no one's talked to for 10 days, 14 days, 17 days, 2 days, 4 days, right? That's what you should be just as mad about, but you don't have the opportunity to see that when you're running 2 different silos, an inventory tool and a CRM and an inventory manager and a BDC. These are 2 different departments with 2 different goals, not working together. Okay. So if you